Hello, Narnach here. Welcome back to Grim Dawn. We are playing in the Ashes of Malmouth expansion as a Necromancer, which is one of the new classes. And last episode, or the one before that, I talked about items that modify skills, but I made the mistake of not showing it to you, so I'm doing that now. There's a +2 to force wave on here, which is just normal, but it also removes 0.4 seconds of recharge time, so you can use it more often, and it adds +2 meter range to the skill. So this is for the soldier force wave, but I hope that for the Necromancer we end up finding some interesting things as well. In the warm-up before this episode, I did run through the swamp, raided most of the interesting locations, getting some more crystals and some a little bit of root, and I crafted some components to try to plug as many of my resistance holes here as possible. So no, nothing truly fancy, but it's a slow improvement. And I'm taking you over here to the Mouldering Fields because there is a hidden cave that is not really visible on the map. Actually, it's not even listed on the map at all. But there's a challenge inside that most of the time I forget to go here. And this corpse that's just trying to drag itself away out of here is a good indication. This is a scary dude, the Godworm, the Man-Eater. Level 23, I'm only 17, so he's 6 levels above me. And the first time you go in here, you do get a text warning saying like, this is really scary. So I figured that would be a good thing to actually record. And see if indeed we can deal with the scary. So we'll just okay. So he's got a lot of life, especially compared to my minions. Good thing is we have flasks and he doesn't, so that does help us. To try and see if we can keep him at bay, we can use Cold Grave to boost our minion damage temporarily. He does keep killing them from time to time. Okay.
I can't do that yet.
Definitely. Not dude we want to get too close to. Ooh, he's throwing a net of sorts. Also, we do have pets. Pets are good to distract the enemy or kill them. And yeah, he's stunning. Not as in good looking, but stunning as in he really hits you hard. But in the end, if you throw enough flasks at the problem, or enough health flask that is, then he goes down. And we get a supreme chest as a reward. And we get, oh, a gunslinger's jacket. And some green items over there. And now we can walk out. Or, actually, we were done here, so I might as well portal out. So that was Godworm. Next up, let's head in the general direction of the Warden. Let's see if we can wrap up the remainder of Act 1. It's probably not going to be today that we face the Warden. That's probably going to be in the next episode. But we can at least make a decent start at it. There's going to be a shrine that we have to clear out in town still. There is an apprentice that we have to rescue. Because of course that is Dalet the Inventor. Very useful NPC to have in town. Ooh, and we're now despised by the Ethereals. Wonderful. So we get some extra spawns, also known as loot piñatas. Okay, oh wait, there was the hatch into the cellars. Let's see if this is going to be the jackpot for getting us the assistant. we did lose one of our minions. Might even have happened in the Gutworm fight. But at least now we're back to 4. Whatever, tried to stay in here. It might have succeeded, but if you wait too long in a circle of salt without any additional food or other useful things, then yeah, it's not really gonna help you either. It's one of the upsides of the undead in some kind of zombie apocalypse. They've got all the time in the world. Ooh, a stone altar. That looks like another loot frenzy. Glacial, silver band. This is some non-related caster stuff. Even more loot. Okay, also know most of my gear is now green or blue, and just picking up the yellows here for some money. I think we can actually bump up the loot filter to green, so we don't see the yellow items drop anymore. Now obviously that's going to result in less yellow items being visible, so it's going to be difficult to actually sell them for some money. On the other hand, it is easier for just clearing through. We got a blueprint here for Omen, which is a epic one-handed sword, which has a vitality inspired theme. And it gives us Reaping Cascade, 5% chance on attack, which does a lot of vitality damage, vitality decay, and has leech to it. I think we found ourselves a weapon that we want to craft at level 25, because it looks pretty darn epic. That's one of the upsides. I do have a lot of blueprints unlocked already, and due to how the blueprint system works in Grim Dawn, if a blueprint were to drop that I already have, the game will reroll it once to see if it can roll something that I don't yet have. So there's a decent chance of obtaining something you don't already have. So there might be a lot of Necromancer and Inquisitor inspired items dropping as blueprints in the earlier part of the series. Okay. So I think we ended up across the street from where we entered. So it didn't really make all that much progress. And on top of all of, we actually managed to lose one of our skeletons again, so that's a re-summon. I'm slowly getting better at opening the fights by throwing a devouring swarm at him. And then afterwards we follow up with a bone thing. Bone thing being a bone harvest. And we have Igrix the Rhymeheart. You know what? If we pump up our minions, you're gonna take a lot of damage. I like how that works. Spiritbane ointments, those are useful. Cool. Skill points. Yes, I did level once while doing my warm-up, so we actually have 6 points to spend rather than only the 3. So let's yeah, we have some things to boost. So we have Rotting Fumes, an upgrade for our buddy Stitches, the Blight Fiend, and we have a Siphon Souls skill to check out. Just based on the raw damage alone here, 339 vitality damage. This looks like it might be slightly more successful for this specific build than Drain Essences, because these numbers are low, these numbers are interesting. Other than that, that's 2 points spent, so let's spend another 4 boosting our main bar over here. And I think it was, yeah, Physics turn. So we got another skill. What was it called again? Siphon Souls. Okay. And we need to re-summon Stitches. Yeah. Who now has a very putrid aura around him. It's almost like you can smell where he's going. Yeah, we have to go through the harbor again, but we can just move straight to the top rather than going by the water side. And there is our broken wall. Okay, so is this a ranged skill? No, it's point blank AoE. The Siphon Souls. So how I expected Ill Omen to work, that's how Siphon Souls works. It's actually an AoE centered on myself. So it's a panic button of sorts. 288 damage inflicted. Means they have about a 25% resistance, at least that specific mosquito. And that's two for ourselves. Let's move over to the Burgess stage here. So one of the things to keep in mind for Siphon Souls is that it will reduce your health regeneration by currently 30%. One of the things, of course, if you are investing heavily into health regeneration, I think this might just be an additive one rather than a multiplicative bonus or penalty, however you look at it. So in the bigger picture, it might actually be very easily negatable if you just properly gear for it. Desecration Shrine. This is going to be fun. So if we just take a small step backwards here, just shoot that thing. So we got some intruders here. And that was surprisingly easy. Arcanist's Wand of Caged Souls. Caged Souls sounds good. Vitality damage, ether damage, vitality decay. Those are nice bonuses. Some bonuses. Spirit, energy regen, casting speed. It's only the bonus to nullification that is not useful for us because we're not an Arcanist. And the damage on this is actually lower than the cruel edge we do have. But it's a beginning. Also, we got a devotion point. Wait. Fun thing, we unlocked... Oh, this actually unlocks the final point for the Shepherd's Call. It's difficult to see for the last one because the question mark icon overlays it. Makes it slightly more difficult to see if you already have it or not. Let's see, 25% chance on attack to be used. It has a 5-second recharge. So it's probably better to put it on the Devouring Swarm for now, because this does not have a cooldown. So now we just keep using it. And then I would expect it to trigger. Maybe we need to hit something. Let's try and see. So we'll just take another of these cellars over here. Look for the apprentice. And something popped up. That was Shepherd's Call. Okay, it seems like it's more about when we hit something rather than when we attack something. In that case, have a quick look here, because with Bone Harvest we have a large AoE that can hit a lot of enemies at the same time. There's a fair chance of actually using it in a useful way then. So yeah, let's see. Bone Harvest. Ill Omen could also be an interesting one, since we do use it to scare enemies if we then also send our minions after them. Yeah, I think that might be even better. So, Ill Omen it is. But for now, let's send Dalit to town. Wonderful, yet another quest successfully completed. Yeah, it triggers on hit, so that is pretty cool. Especially since now this one runs and eventually, see, it kicked in. I like that. It's Something I haven't really paid too much attention to, since I haven't really used all that many devotions that have a proc ability that is depending on hits. So most of the time it's just per cast effects that have been kicking in. Okay, we'll just plunder all of this, get all the green items. Wonderful, very happy we don't have the yellow items showing anymore. And there we, ooh, Mesmer, who clones himself. Himself, itself, not quite sure. Either way, ill omen for you, buddy. Just send him some devouring swarms, and then some bone harvesting, some ill omens. Also, we need to re-summon our knuckleheads. And then I think it might actually be decent to move back to where we entered here. Because we entered next to the shrine, and the shrine is just across the street from the mansion of the warden. And yeah, that is indeed our next destination. Our next destination. Too far to walk around. Ooh, in a large mansion like this, where Ill Omen actually has a decent chance to just keep spreading from foe to foe to foe.
That skill's not ready.
It will trigger multiple times from a single cast, it seems. If no, it just has enough time to keep cascading from one to the other place. Also, that room over there. That's downstairs, not upstairs. There's a nice box in there and some loot. And oh, shotgun. So I mentioned in a previous episode, I'm not paying too much attention to the lore in this playthrough, at least not in the early parts. Once we get to the expansion content, of course, that's where I will start paying attention to it. But for now, we've seen this before, nothing new. But still, reading those books, it gives you XP, and I do like XP. So you only have to click for it. And then we go down here, then we have another group of willing participants in our experiment. And we can go down the cellar. Just glancing over at the time, we're only 18 minutes in. I think we might be able to just move to the next waypoint. That seems like a decent thing to do. So hello there, Darlet. We got some more reputation for saving you. Kasparov is happy. And now we can remove mods from items, which is the first one. And for dismantle, we still need to do another quest somewhere. It's gonna be for another time. Yeah, we still have some of the yellow items over here that we picked up early on in the episode, so I'm just gonna sell all of them. Now there's a reason we're ignoring them there. Probably gonna be underpowered. Some of them might be slightly better than what we have, but all in all, just the signal to noise ratio is definitely not in our favor here. Yeah, we dismissed this one. Nice, but not nice enough. Fatality resistance. We do need that more than cold and lightning. Yeah, you know what? Let's upgrade. Then we can just strip that one with the inventor service. Wonderful. Ooh, bonus to pet stuff. Damage, resists. On the other hand, for now let's focus on just maxing out my own resists. Then we think of the pets a little later. Oh, Subjugator's a fiendish effigy of binding. +1 to skeletons, that's what our current one also has. We get a Reckless Guardian, that's also what we have, so important modifications have been preserved. Spirit and some form of energy regen. We have better cooldown reduction in here. The pet bonus is better, 28% damage and 4% health. And the Reckless Guardian also seems to be innately of a higher level, because it gets more health, more energy and does more damage. So I would call this a in-place upgrade. This is unexpectedly early to get an upgrade for that one. Okay, next up, boots. Don't have anything socketed in it, so it's really easy to upgrade. A little bit of vitality resistance, as I said, it is one of our lowest resists, so upgrading it over fire and lightning, that's probably doable. So, ta-da, we can sell that one. We need to strip stuff out of these. Insight on attack, mass, elemental damage, so we don't really care too much about that. Little bonus to ether damage and some vitality resistance. But poison and bleeding, well, bleeding is actually maxed out already. It was surprisingly easy to max it this time around. Yeah, sure, why not? Then we'll just strip that one as well. So before this episode I thought, we were getting to a state where we got some decent gear. It's not likely that we're gonna get a lot of upgrades, so let's spend some time to put components into everything, and look what happens. We get upgrades, and then more upgrades, and then some more. We have physical damage, we have ether damage, and pierce resistance is actually useful. So another one gets to be upgraded. This is not an upgrade, that is nice. These are, I think, might have been some of our old boots. The ring is not useful, and the gunslinger's jacket. We're not a gunslinger. Most definitely not a gunslinger. Okay. So some generic stuff, then we just keep the add-ons. Wonderful, then we can just reapply those. So we put this one back in here. Now boost our vitality damage even more. It's always just looks pretty impressive with all of these modifiers to it, but in essence it doesn't really do all that much. Cold, yep, that's still an issue. So let's boost cold. Fire, yep, we still could use some more fire resistance, so let's boost that. We replaced our gloves. Ember grip handguards, yeah, they're okay, but they're not great, so you know what? We'll just keep the add-on and we nuke the item. That's one of the downsides, you have to choose either or, you can't keep both of them. But our vitality is now up to 56%, it's even higher than our poison resist. So we're doing something right. Then should go quickly to the stash, and then we could actually have a look to craft some poison resistance for our boots over here. So that is the anti-venom salve, which goes nicely into our boots. So that's at 61%. And
hey, don't get killed out there.
For the amulets, I don't think we have anything truly interesting just yet. Could actually just double check. Hover over it, highlights what you could use. What are you? All damage, crit damage, and then it goes into the lightning corner and a electric zap back at things that attack me. And a stun. That's nice and defensive actually. It's not quite bad. On the other hand, corpse dust. You know what, we'll do something different for a change. Let's actually use this attuned lodestone and have a look at if the static feedback, the static charge, if it's actually useful in some way. And then just the stuff I found so far, just putting it in. And then we can move onwards. Oh, we did lose one of our skeletons, we might as well resummon them. And then let's go down. Oh, we reached a new waypoint, of course, so this is where we need to be. Wonderful, wonderful, just wonderful. So let's see if we can make it to the next waypoint. Lots of secret tunnels and things in here with lots of spiders. Pretty rewarding. There are a couple of unique spiders in here. And of course have a decent chance of dropping decent loot. And our higher level guardian dog is guarding us again. That's one of the nice things of some of the green items, the modifiers. They do come in sets of modifiers that are actually pretty cool. So if you get the right set again, you effectively get a drop-in replacement for your gear. That's in that regard it's a little different than how gear works in A Path of Exile, where each mod gets rolled individually, and here they often come in groups rather than by themselves. So you have a little bit more thematic consistency. Would that be a good way to put it? No, more mods that go together rather than a complete random mess of things. But of course you don't have the fine control via crafting that you have in Path of Exile, so it balances in two directions there. Yeah, just some monster dudes, but they're far away, so they get to live another day. Don't want to walk all the way back just to kill them. Okay, let's just scare those things, and we just chase after them with our bone harvest, and then we scare them some more. These rooms are pretty toxic. It's not really good for your health to step a foot in them. So. Oh, note to self. Don't forget Ill Omen. We lose out on some damage bonuses otherwise. So, if you're just murdering things and they're not really putting up a lot of fight, you don't really need Ill Omen either with the Shepherd's Call bonus. Oh, this is just a dead end shortcut something rather than the way we have to take. So, gentle introduction to the concept of terrain damage, I suppose. Were those zombies there in the beginning as well? I swear they crawled out of the stone floor without leaving too much of a trace. Excellent. Okay, we scare them, we pump up our minions. Let me just quickly double check. Oh, and we gained another level with some more points. The pets get damage, crit damage and retaliation, but they don't get bonus speed. So it's the speed debuff from Ill Omen that is the only advantage that they get in terms of speed. I mean, enemies run away, but they also get debuffed with slower speed, so they don't run away as fast as they normally would. So your pets have a time to catch up with them. And that takes us to the underground transit, which is almost where I'd like to be for a very nice farming run. The next waypoint is a very nice start for a farming run. This is just slightly too inefficient to use as a start, but well, we've reached the half-hour mark, so that's a good point to call it an episode. We do have to spend our skill points still. So 2 points towards the next level, and we have nothing to boost. So let's just keep putting it in the skeletons themselves. They're slowly getting better, and at some point the skill is going to be maxed. Then we can move over to the other thing. Undead Legion is pretty nice since it gets us more skeletons. And then finally some damage bonus. I think I'll actually wait boosting this one until after a lot of other things have been maxed, simply because it's just a in-place stat bonus for the skeletons. But no, getting them more health, that's useful. Getting more skeletons, that is useful. But after that, I think I'd like to finish the Bone Harvest chain. Bone Harvest itself is nice to put some points into, though it scales with weapon damage, so you can actually push this off a little bit. And then we have the Soul Harvest over here, which is a bonus to both myself and pets. So putting at least 1 point in is useful, and then putting in a couple more points afterwards. And yeah, oh, there's a bit of a trade-off to be made. Once we hit level or 50 points in here, I think we'll spend 1 point per level to max out the Shaman tree as well. Not putting less emphasis on it, but still putting in 1 point per level. So no, we can get access to Mog Dragon's Pact and its upgrades, and eventually Conjure Primal Spirit is yet another distraction pet. 4000 health right now already is double what I have. The Briar Thorn similarly has a large health pool. So no, they're nice pets to have as distractions. Not primary pets, but simply distraction pets. And of course putting more points into Devouring Swarm. But yeah, so far I am enjoying this build. Enjoying most of the skills. Oh, I've refunded a couple skills that... Drain Essence I think is probably going to have to be the primary focus of your build, and you have to really build around it in order to make something useful out of it. For us that simply is not the case. Or you just need to put a lot of points in to maybe make it useful. Similarly for Ravenous Earth, it was a nice skill to have, but it really wants a build of its own. The focus here is going to be Vitality and Poison, with some upgrades into more Vitality and Poison. And then some Ether damage on top. So same damage as that the Blight Fiend over here does, but the focus just slightly off. So there's plenty of choices in this build, or in the Necromancer, for doing different kinds of builds. But with that, I'm gonna thank you very much for watching, and hope to see you again next time when we go after Warden Krieg himself. Bye bye.